49ers beat the Seahawks 17-13 and a bit of a heartbreaker for the Seahawks. But the 49ers get back to positive. They're 1-0 after a rough season last year in San Fran.
Positive in the win column, but very not positive on the injury report. So we'll get into that in a minute. Yeah. But it was a fun divisional game, man. This was a fun matchup overall. A couple of surprising performances. It looked like early the Niners offense was going to be back, dude. It looked like the Niners offense was just going to overall be really, really good in this game. It didn't necessarily end up playing out that way the whole entire game. And part of that is due to these injuries that ended up taking place. But also I was impressed with Darnold, man. Darnold looked pretty good. He wasn't awful. And I don't know. I think I was, again, kind of like you said, it was heartbreaking for Seattle in the end. I'm pretty high on Seattle, man. I think their outlook is still really good despite this tough loss. But the Niners, man, that's the funny thing. This is the one game where I actually feel worse about the winner. I do, because you just mentioned on air that Kittle's out for several weeks. I don't know if you saw the report, dude, but Brock Purdy is now dealing with an injury. He might not play. Trent Williams looked terrible in the game. He looked absolutely awful. Exactly. It seems like he fell off a cliff. CMC is always an injury risk. They still have Ayuk out. And all offseason I was saying, if they have their offensive weapons, they're going to be good on offense. But if they have the injuries that have been kind of the Niners thing the last few years, then they could fall off pretty hard. And at this point, man, the strength and conditioning, I don't know what's going on over there. I don't know if it's a really bad run of luck, but dude, it's brutal, man. I mean, injury after injury, and it's year after year. It's just really, really bad.
It is brutal, and you're right. They had a 95-yard drive to start the game, and Kittle was a huge part of that. Ends up catching the touchdown, and then comes out of the game, and I don't know. I don't know what to make of the injuries and the team's lack of ability of staying healthy. I don't know if it's a combination of the age there and them being likely to be injured more with guys like Kittle and Trent Williams, who's been out as well. But it's just it's worrying. It's worrying for the 49ers, and I do kind of agree. I feel better about the Seahawks than I do the 49ers coming out of this, because
I know.
Unfortunate play for Darnold. He still finished as the fourth highest graded passer this week, and Seahawks fans may be surprised by that, by some of the performance, but he had some beautiful throws in there, including a fantastic one to JSN down the sideline. Mm-hmm. But Darnold actually played well, and an unfortunate fumble, which was really Nick Bosa making a good play more than it was, in my opinion, a bad play by Darnold. They didn't even give him a turnover where they play for that. PFF didn't. So it's more of just Nick Bosa making an incredible play. That was just really unfortunate, because it looked like the Seahawks were about to win the game. Like it did. That drive felt like they were about to win the game. Can't say for certain, but it felt that way. Unfortunate loss for them. And, a few positives for the Seahawks. Rookie Emenwari, the safety out of South Carolina, made a few plays in this, including like a fantastic tackle for loss where he blew a play up. One negative, I saw so much on Twitter of Seahawks fans just trashing Tariq Woolen. And because he was kind of to blame on the touchdown and a few other pass plays where he was going for big play rather than just breaking up the pass. And it ended up being huge in the end. But overall, man, the Seahawks, the one thing I will say there's also concernings coming from this a good amount, because Cooper Kupp was literally non-existent in this game, but JSN is wearing the wide receiver one hat proudly, and he looked pretty good doing it.
That was really notable coming from this game. It really felt like the JSN show, and that's it. And we kind of had questions. That's why I was questioning Darnold, dude, because it's like he's coming from Minnesota with all these weapons, and he's going to a team that's significantly downgrading in weapons. And I think that played out in week one. It does. I do have to give JSN credit though. It does seem like he's finally ready to break out and be that,
Yeah.
difference making wide receiver one, which he kind of started to do at the end of last year. So give him credit for that. Abraham Lucas, their tackle, he continues to be really bad. Charles Cross was phenomenal, kind of as usual. He's kind of the strong suit of that offensive line. But yeah, Abraham Lucas was not good in this game. And the interior is better now though. Gray Zabel played a little bit better. That's why, again, kind of like we're saying, dude, is like, I feel better. The outlook of the Seahawks feels better to me right now than the 49ers out of this game, because I mean, it was an unfortunate play, man. It did feel like that pass could have been broken up in the end zone. It was a great throw by Brock Purdy. Got to give him credit for that. The throw was really, really nice. And a great catch as well. But yeah, I feel like the Seahawks probably should have won this game, Dakota. And then also, I feel better about them going forward in this division, just because of the 49ers injuries.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing too that's noteworthy is the the JSN fumble after, praising him, which he deserves. The start of the second half, fourth quarter was unfortunate where they were driving and he ends up fumbling, which if they had been able to go down on that drive and score, which not saying it would have definitely happened, they could have potentially taken a 2-score lead and things kind of fell off a little bit after that. But yeah, we're going to need to see somebody step up at receiver for the Seahawks because, and that may be why people think Sam Darnold didn't play very well, is just looking at JSN's stats and being like, oh, he just force-fed one guy. But the problem is that he was the only guy getting open.
Yes, yeah.
And when he did, Darnold could hit him. But yeah, from this game, I'm worried about the 49ers. I think their defense is still pretty solid. Nick Bosa, my, preseason defense player of the year,
looking good.
He was looking good. He was looking good. The interior defensive line was okay. Kenneth Walker may be cooked. I don't know. His rushing ability was not very good in this game.
It didn't look good.
And really just when he got the ball in his hands, didn't look very good. So, but yeah, we'll see. I'm worried for the 49ers. The health is going to be an issue. And then for the Seahawks, I'm excited. I'm curious to see. I still think McDonald is just going to be a good coach. And I'll be curious to see what this Seahawks team can do.
Yeah, man, I feel like I'm kind of slightly more negative in this game. I don't know why. Maybe because it was just a kind of a defensive slugfest. But Mykel Williams is also a disappointment. He was also a pretty big disappointment in this game. We were kind of calling for someone else to step up out, opposite side of Nick Bosa, and it didn't happen in week one. Now, I'm not saying he's a bust because of week one. He's a rookie. It's his debut. He was probably rushing against Charles Cross, really good left tackle, some of the game as well. So that's probably has a lot to do with it. They probably took advantage of the right tackle matchup, I have to imagine. So, yeah. But like the Niners, man, like the issue with them is going to be these injuries going forward, dude. Because I think if they were healthy, they probably, looking at everyone else in the division this week one, I probably would have felt pretty comfortable thinking they were going to take this division. And I thought Brock Purdy played well overall. But he's not going to be able to do anything without those top weapons.
Absolutely. And one thing to note, you mentioning Mykel Williams, the other two rookies on the defensive line, Alfred Collins and CJ West, only played 9 and 7 snaps each. They didn't get a ton of time in there to really see what they can do. Again, where they need help, man, they need some help on that defensive line alongside Nick Bosa. So